Bok, 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 bok. That was Chicken 4. Welcome to the Wholesome Feed. So, do chickens make good investments? Biscuits, you know that I did an impulse buy the other week. And I bought 6 chickens. We've been talking all year about chickens. We've been doing the research since last year to get them. And I was just really hesitant to bite the bullet and be committed to chickens. And there happened to be some breeds that looked really good that were just happened to be available in a Tractor Supply that we went to buy fencing. And we just went like, what the heck? We have all the other supplies. We literally already brought like heat lamps and stuff. Like we were that far along, and then I kind of got cold feet and into it. And the kids convinced me, and we got 6 chickens. So no, chickens are not good investments financially because they cost more to get the eggs from them than you can buy them in the store. I mean, even at scale, if you were to scale up and do hundreds of chickens, which you are not going to do for a backyard chicken, they just cost a lot. They're more than if you go buy cheap eggs in the store. Probably they're even more than if you buy eggs from a local farm, because more than likely they have more chickens than you, so they can buy feed in bulk. So you're not a good financial investment. But, and this is what convinced me to get them, they're actually a pretty affordable pet. So my kids really want a dog. They're hitting me up for a poodle. I mean, they'd take any dog that's giant, but I have allergies, so my son narrowed it down to he wants a poodle. He wants a smart dog that's huge that he can play with and train. And I was like, you know, that's a huge time and money commitment, and let's try something else. And the chickens, they have loved and adored, like even my 2-year-old, we're teaching her how to be gentle, so she doesn't have like unsupervised time with chickens, but my 8-year-old and 2-year-old love the chickens. They are obsessed with them. They're buddies. They check on them all the time. We've been making them little toys for their brooder because they're still little babies. They aren't quite outside yet. It's been great because my son's had to commit to cleaning up after them with me. I do the main cleaning, but I make him do a little side cleaning. And boy, does he not want to do it some days. And I just say, like, if you want a pet, these are your responsibilities. You know, it's not all on me. And I can tell he's trying to weasel his way out of it. And I was like, this was our agreement. So it's great for them to do it that way. My daughter will help me put like the little water feeder back in the container. She'll help me hold it. And they make great pets. Not good investments. No. You are not going to somehow magically, maybe if you could like, if you had all the supplies and you just made a coop out of whatever you had and they could free range like an acre or 2 or something and just feed themselves, maybe that would be cheaper than store-bought eggs. But you got to get out like the specialty equipment and stuff. Like we didn't have any of that. We had to buy the waterer. I actually did use an old tub for when they were tiny from, I was storing a lot of my photography backdrop equipment. So that's still in a pile somewhere else. So that worked well, but we did have to buy a new container for them, for the brooder, because they've outgrown the old one. We had to buy them a little feeder bowl. So it's not huge cost or anything. It's way cheaper. Like for $50, you're in for 6 chickens, maybe less. For supplies, chickens, food, everything for the first month. And I think that's a pretty good deal pet-wise. They're pretty low maintenance overall. Like we don't have to handle them and cuddle them up as much as we do, but the kids love to. And they're adventurous. They all have their own personalities. So I think that they are better as pets for us than like financial investments. It's a nice idea to be a little bit more food independent, which is something that our homesteady hearts like to do. Because we've been getting into that more. You know, I even showed my friend today. I was like, I've been making my own bone broth. I know, how crunchy have I gotten? I'm like, I'm gonna make my own bone broth. I'm gonna buy the soup bones and the marrow bones for like local beef farmers and make my own. And now with chickens, if I'm gonna eat a chicken, I could use the little feet for collagen bone broth, but I'm not allowed to eat chickens because my kids would never forgive me. Oh my god, I hope nothing happens to them and like we have to eat one or anything, because it would not take that well. But we're gonna get eggs from them, and that will be really exciting. We'll use the eggs as fertilizer and compost their poop, so that'll be really good for our garden and our orchard. And it's small scale. You know, it's not super time consuming. I would say they take about 10 minutes if they're being messy that day, like 15 minutes a day throughout the whole day to tidy up and clean. And I do a full brooder clean out every day, clean out their water, their food, and, you know, keep all that going. So way less commitment than a dog, but so much fun. And has convinced me that my kids clearly need pets. So probably it's like down the rabbit hole. Not only is it rabbit math, not only is it chicken math, which Biscuits, if you don't know what chicken math is, it's the idea that once you get like 2 chickens, then you see another chicken and you think, oh, well, let's add that. And then suddenly you have like 20 chickens and you only had 2 and the chicken math kicked in and you don't know what happened. So I can see how that's totally possible to happen. I feel like 6 is more than enough. I kind of got 6 thinking I don't know how long all of them will survive. Hopefully they will all survive to nice old age and be all healthy. But I thought if I just get like 3, then if anything happens, you know, but 6 was kind of my backup number. So hopefully that goes well for them. And I'm glad we did. I'm glad we got the 6 because I thought it was maybe a little bit too many chickens for us, but they aren't all gonna give eggs on the same day, so it evens out well, and we can always sell a couple extra to, or just give them away to our neighbors. I like it. I like the chickens. I like having a pet in the house again. I used to have a doggie that I loved and adored. Oh, little baby. And I really miss having pets. I have been in such a busy season of, you know, I'm a mom of 2, I homeschool, I work full-time running my own business from home. I run a small glamping business that's not where I live, so I have to go commute to it and prep it and do a huge amount of site work and everything, and cleaning work for the tents and everything. So it's a lot to juggle. And this year I really stepped back and said, what are my priorities for our family, and to really take it slow. So we're just taking it much more slowly than the progress of our homestead, in my business, everything. We're just being mellow, you know. I'm trying to get back to releasing a novel because I write romance and erotica novel. It's my full-time job. And I haven't been able to release a new book, I think, in 2 years because I have been so busy. I have a back catalog of books that I sell, but, you know, it really helps to release new books, right? It drums up more interest in your novels. And this year I'm like, I've got to have enough free time to do that. So that is my goal, is to open up enough free time. And I gotta say, Biscuits, okay, this is what no one tells you, but chickens are a very affordable babysitter. I can sit and edit my novel watching them with the chickens in our laundry room and eventually outside, and they will be entertained for like a solid hour at least. And these are still baby chickens. It is amazing. Yes, for $5 a chicken or less, they make fantastic babies because they just entertain the kids. It's incredible. I love it. I would have bought them a year ago had I realized that they were such inexpensive babysitters. I live in Western Washington, which is a childcare desert. It's infamous for the difficulty and expense of finding any kind of childcare options. There's like year-long wait lists, years long. Trying to find like a babysitter is impossible, and they make more an hour than I do. It's insane. And so I was like, oh, I can see that pets are in our future just as a babysitter thing, so I can finally get more novels released. So I don't recommend chickens as a financial investment unless you're hiring them as a babysitter, and then I kind of think it's a great investment, actually. I enjoy taking care of them and watching them do their little thing. They found a little bug that was crawling on their brooder, and they all like lined up like little raptors and were just trying to go after it. It was hysterical. The kids were like mesmerized for 25 minutes. It was incredible. I'm still hearing about the story from them. And I think it's worth getting chickens if you want to know a little bit more where your food's coming from. You want a little bit more security in knowing that, you know, you're going to have X amount of eggs on average per month, except for, you know, maybe in the wintertime when they aren't laying. The more you can pre-prep your food and figure out those sources, because that can be an instability area of like, how are you going to feed your chickens? Sometimes the prices go way up, as everything has for chicken feed. So there's different ways to handle that. I am going about a really budget way to make their coop. Like there are like $10,000 chicken coops for 6 chickens. It's insane. So I got a coop for like, I think it was $130 or $160 on Prime Day. And I'm building it together. It's like a dog kennel kind of coop. So it's metal. It's really strong. Oh, sorry, hold on, Biscuits. I dropped my pen. I had my notebook about my chickens. And I am turning into this cute chicken coop that is going to be the perfect size for them. And I can actually walk into to clean out. So as long as you have a little ingenuity and creativity, it can cost a lot less. Their first brooder was something I already had. I would say I have heard that it's about $30 a month to keep adult chickens. Approximately like 20 or 30, depends how many you have. And so like, do I eat $30 in eggs a month? There is no way I eat that amount of eggs a month. But I think that a dog costs a lot more, and even really a cat costs more than that. So if you're looking at it from a pet perspective, I think they're actually pretty fun pets. And they eat table scraps, and we'll eat the slugs out of my garden because you biscuits know what. Are you telling me that I like to garden? And my phone is beeping at me and I don't know why. Okay, I admit I like to garden. But slugs are the bane of my existence in the Pacific Northwest, and chickens will. So for that alone, I'm going to be thankful for those chickens. There was a lot of site prep in my yard. I had to fence the whole thing in with metal welded gauge wire fencing and T-posts. I could have done another fence, could have hired somebody to do the fencing, but it was astronomical. So as a budget-friendly mama, I just did it myself slowly over the last 6 months. Mainly I did that to enclose my 2-year-old because she wants to run into the road that we live on, which isn't super busy, but sometimes it is, and I'm like, no. So that's nice because then they can just free range occasionally when we open up the coop for them. So just think about your space, think about your time commitments. Like, do you have 20 minutes a day to spend on the chickens? And do you think that financially it makes sense to invest at least $30 a month in your chickens? Like, you have to think about that. But do I think it's really rewarding and fun? Yes. And most of all, my kids adore it. And I think that is so totally worth $30 a month. So it's an investment in family happiness, if not financial freedom from chicken egg presses. All right, biscuits, I'm going to see you on our primal month of self-care on Patreon, where we are going to embrace our inner and outer self-care for a glorious month of happiness. I'll see you over there.